Initially getting the kite off the ground. Some people want to run with it. Some people walk it up and let it, let the wind hit it. It's just up to you.
Yeah.
And how you, how you get it up there. But getting it up there is really the easy part. Keeping it up there is everything. So when you think about like where you want to go, even when I think about this, I can do this. I'm all right at this. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to pat myself on the back.
It took patience.
Come on.
Finesse.
Come on.
Catching the right breeze.
I got to. And it got to be funky enough for me that it makes sense every day. You see what I'm saying? Because this is one of the things where I can say how you put out albums. I put out albums in different seasons, different moments of my life. But I put this thing out, bro, and been consistent enough to say, this is one of my kids now. So I actually have 3 kids. You dig what I'm saying? When you look at this.
Yeah.
Because this baby right here, she growing every day. You dig what I'm saying? So I be so super proud of it or whatever when you look at it, man. So
you should be. It's fire.
I appreciate
You're raising a good kid.
Hey, listen, man. And it's one of them things, bro, where I'm looking at it every day and I'm trying to gather it and I'm trying to put it into perspective, bro. And all I want to do is make sure that when it's all said and done in my legacy with it, they'll be able to look at it and say, hey, we got something. You know what I'm saying? Dad did something good. So.
Oh, yeah. Yo, what up, 33? Tell me something good. Everybody.
They tell me life don't come with no manual. So we're going to take it a day at a time.
Man, about time you got here, man. Light your cigar, do whatever you got to do. Get comfortable.
Well, we back again. We now tune into the Good Days GreatNights podcast. Got me a good cigar, got me a good person with me, so let's get on and get it out the way. If you know me in the cigar world, they call me 33. IG, they call me CoolBreezeAl. Alicia and Harrison's daddy or father, depending on what demographic, how you get down. Your auntie's favorite podcast host. She told me don't worry about nothing. She said NBA Finals will be a little bit better since the playoffs wasn't no good for you. And she also told me keep doing my thing, keep waking up every morning. Your uncle's favorite nephew. I talked to him last week, and he was proud of me. He said he was proud. He said he listened. He said he was proud of me, so I'm good with that. Second coming of Gerald Levert, and you know what I'm saying, the teddy bear. I got handles, man. I got handles. And Mr. Will spin your mama from a half to a whole on some 2-step type stuff. So again, man, I tell y'all all the time. Anytime I get to break bread with my people, it's always a pleasure. I got somebody in here real special. I'm going to tell you, a lot of times people base it off what they heard. But from what I've seen, the track record, I've seen you be pure here lately. I'll say that would be the word that I'm looking for. Like from a man to another man, transparency is everything, you know what I'm saying? So it's always a pleasure when I see somebody doing that, and then I'm always honored when they want to sit down.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times it's me reaching out and stuff like that. But when people want to sit down with you, it means you're doing something good. So we'll definitely rap about that, but I appreciate your patience and everything. But we do it a little different here at Good Days GreatNights. We don't base it off of what we heard. Might have heard world tour, might have heard he been across the, some oceans and some rivers and some lakes, and then seen some fun on the East Coast, and a well-known wine drinker, entrepreneur, father, gave him some good game along the way. Couple chickens and some other stuff, you never know. But we do it off a road trip, bro. In the sense of a road trip, if you was getting ready to leave right now, we got some decent weather. It's about to drop here in a little bit, but where would you want to go? We can leave right now.
If I could bounce right now, I'll probably go, I'm not sure what the season is in Santorini, but Santorini's been on my list for a good little minute.
Okay.
I'll go to Santorini.
Okay, so look, we're gonna go and take that on a Delta flight because they got that Delta One. You can stretch your legs out a little bit.
Yeah.
So you need that. You need all of that, right? So when we get there, and the driver come, he got the sign. Say, for the fellas, y'all come on, jump in, and he tell you to plug in. Now you get to plug in and grab a Bluetooth. You get 5 songs on the way to, on the way to where we gonna post up at. So 5 songs to describe yourself right now to date, as a person, as a man, some of your memories, whether childhood, whether middle, and you can kind of go like that and just give me a little bit of a breakdown on them if you could, please.
We in the car on the way to we in Santorini.
We there. We didn't
so
touch
we
down.
looking at the white and blue.
Come on.
Everything.
Come on.
the coast, just looking crazy. I'm probably gonna play Smokey Robinson, Cruising.
Of course, I've heard this song.
Yep.
That's my fault. Hold on, I don't know what I did with that one. There we go.
I think Rick Ross actually has a song called Santorini, Greece. So for the culture, I'd have to play that one.
Got to, have to.
It would be Roy Ayers, Sunshine for sure. Hopefully the sun is shining in Santorini right now. Fourth one, it would be something by the Internet. That's one of my favorite bands. Shout out to the Internet. And the fourth one or the fifth one, I'll probably save until later that evening after I done finessed around Santorini, and you know, if I brought a little chick with me, you know, we could throw on that new IrvDaPHENOM featuring Church Boy.
Come on,
or Kevin Church Johnson. They can love, you know, see where the night takes us. Yeah, it's a solid 5.
That's a solid 5. That's a solid 5. Do me a favor, brother. Introduce yourself, man.
Peace, beautiful ladies, players, hustlers, dreamers, big lovers. I am the only IrvDaPHENOM. Singer, songwriter, entrepreneur. You know, black boy from Wyandotte who got to see the world a little bit, and now I want to see the world some more.
Okay, Irv, I appreciate it so much, big dog, and got to see the world, right?
A little bit.
Talk to me about. We're gonna jump in. We'll come back to a little bit of the format, but I just want to know where some of the places music has taken you.
Physically,
come on, that's where we at. Yeah,
music has taken me to Jamaica a couple times.
Okay.
I've gone to Canada, Belize. I want to say my first trip out of the country was Tijuana. That was lit, but that was music, and that was kind of like the gateway for me. Just seeing that it was really a platform to travel with.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't have as many stamps as I would like to get, and I can't remember all the little small countries. But just solely music, I would say those are where I've gone just on music.
And that was probably before the age of what? What'd you say?
I think I started getting my stamps when I turned 23 or 24.
Okay. And the reason why I asked, man, when you live in the inner city, when you kind of channel yourself to only know your block, your neighborhood, I tell people all the time, that's all you know. So we get so caught up in U.S. And we run back and forth to back in the day. It was everything to go to Gateway Classic. You know what I'm saying? It was.
Yo, the fact that you just brought up Gateway Classic, like that little stretch down I-70.
Yeah.
Dog, like, no. I was, as soon as I got my car or my license, what was I, 15, 16? Straight to Gateway Classic.
Got to.
Dog, Gateway Classic used to crack. The clubs would be open till like 5 a.m.
Go over to the east side, go see the Vino, Pink Slip, everything else. You got to do your thing, right? But to know before 25, you were able to go and see the world, it had to put a different mind frame to you.
Oh, yeah.
What was that like?
For me, I say it started like this, like Gateway Classic, like you said. Because before Instagram and all that, you really had to travel to get what kind of flavor they had in different cities.
Come on now.
It wasn't like right now we all kind of a melting pot.
Facts.
Everybody dressed the same, everybody swag the same, everybody's slang is the same because we could just get on our phone and see what they're doing on the East Coast, West Coast, whatever.
Yeah.
But when I was 15, 16, had my car, going to different cities meant, you know, you get new flavor, you see how they dress. And I remember back then, St. Louis was crazy because they all had locks. This was before locks was even popping.
Yeah.
So going and seeing Jabos and Jordans. You know what I'm saying? They had a strap all tight around the ankle, you know what I mean? And long, tall tees. So yeah, it was dope because it started with that, and I'd be like, yo, you know, I have a trunk full of CDs, and I'd be out there selling CDs and getting in the mix. And I didn't even think of it in a world sense yet. but I just knew different cities where, you know, more people know me outside of my neighborhood. I thought that was tight.
Yeah.
And as I got responses, because I used to have my phone number on the CDs.
Okay.
So people would call me from St. Louis. I'm like, oh, this shit crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be like, all right, where else can I go? So now I start driving to Dallas. I start driving to Ohio, all these different little Midwest places.
Yeah.
And I start getting calls from everywhere. So it was just that early on, it was just the feeling of getting my music out there.
Okay.
And then as I was able to get on tour, it became in between mic checking the show that night.
Yeah.
You got 3-4 hours to burn.
Yeah.
So you get off the bus, you walk around the city, and you might try something, you know, try a new restaurant in every city. And you be like, oh, okay, they cook like this out here. And that's when it really started. That's when the bug got me then.
Come on.
Where I'm like, oh, tour is cool, but I really want to just eat in all the cities. You know what I'm saying? So the first thing that I think about is I was still in high school, and I was being flown out to do a show in Kentucky Derby when Ludacris was like popping.
Okay.
So I met Ludacris at the Kentucky Derby, and some kind of way on the way there, I wound up in New York going to Kentucky,
Yeah.
and it was like underground,
Okay.
and they had food underground, and I tried sushi for the first time.
Blew your mind.
As a grown man now, I don't know if I probably would have ate at that same plate, but I'm 16, so
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I just wanted to try sushi, and it was great. It was really good, and it was that moment right then, like, you know, everybody kind of was like, ugh, sushi, but I tried and it was good.
Yeah.
So to me, it was like, what else is good? Where else is it? And after that, it was just about traveling and trying everything everywhere I went.
Okay. So, fun fact, bro. I used to want to be a roadie. You know what
Man, it's a whole thing.
Listen,
dog.
big dog. Like, it was so bad. My god brothers, two of my god brothers is Ernest, as in Bishop,
Oh yeah, for sure.
and then Howie, and then Earl, right? So they used to come to my dad's house, man, and sit downstairs and sing for hours and hours, right?
Man,
And I remember my homeboy Dominique Collins and the homegirl Shantae. We used to be in a shop class at William Allen White, and Vibe had a magazine that had Destiny's Child on the front, dressed like the Supremes.
right.
You open it up, it was talent. And I'm
That's
like, them
so
my
hard,
people.
dog.
I'm like, them my people, right? And I used to see bro them come, and I'm like, bro, I just want to go with y'all. I just want to be on the road. I just want to see what it look like, how it feel. You got a chance to see independent artists, but Town Business, Calm Before the Storm,
Yeah.
Angelic. You know what I'm saying? You gotta. What was it like being around Strange Music, Tech Nine, and the rest of the group?
I want to say shout out to all my road warriors for sure, because what you said about being a roadie, it's such a culture. It's such a culture being on that road. We had a phrase we say before every tour, you know, kind of, you know, just checking our P's and Q's, and we remind each other out of town, out of bounds.
Come on.
Because, hey, man, I just thought about something crazy. So, like we actually had, you know, I could talk about it a little bit later on, but like we actually lost somebody on the road.
Respect.
He was shot and killed, you know what I'm saying? So respect to him, rest in peace, MJ. But, you know, with that, it really is all you have are the people that you get on that bus with,
Yeah.
and you go out there, especially with us all being from the same city.
Yeah.
So you build a brotherhood that's not like anything else, you know what I mean?
Right.
I went to college for like a year and a half for audio engineering.
Okay.
And right around that year and a half, I was already in the studio with Rob Rebeck. Shout out to Rob Rebeck.
Okay.
And I was in the studio watching him mix. I'm learning from the best. So, you know, I had that going. And then tour presented itself as an opportunity.
Yeah.
So, you know, my college education took place on that road.
Come on. Yeah.
So I was just out there.
Trying to get a 4.0 for real.
Yeah, you know, taking them like, they all like 10, 15 years older than me. So I was a kid, you know what I'm saying? That was a big bro out there.
So you kind of like the Tupac when he went with Digital Underground type in that phase.
Yeah, I was a baby, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I wasn't old enough to be in some of those venues, but because I was part of the tour, I was able to, you know, rock out. So it was dope, man. It's an experience that I mean, it molded me.
Yeah.
It molded me. It opened my eyes to so much culture, to that anything is possible.
Right.
And you know, remembering at one point I would write my autograph at school. I would write my autograph in all my books or whatever. And people would laugh like, man, this nigga here. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, I got to practice this. I'm going to be using it.
I'm going to use it.
And then when I really started using it on CDs and T-shirts and other parts of the body, I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. So it was just a testament early on about you can pray and work and manifest anything.
Come on.
And, you know, as I step further into you know, just my path, when I look back at that, it's important to me because it reminds me, you know what I'm saying? Like that was doable. So, you know what I mean? Like that's something that it seemed like such a big dream.
Gotcha.
And now the other goals that I have that are bigger outside of music, it's just like, I'm gonna do those just like I did that. You know what I mean? So, but it was dope. Overall, you know, touring was strange. I learned a lot. Because I initially came in, here's how I went. I met Tech at the studio.
Okay.
Shout out to Ephraim Taylor Jr.
Okay.
He was the first person to ever really kind of like see me selling CDs, hear my music, and be like, yo, you really can do something. Like, you know what I mean? So first young black dude I seen with like money. You know what I mean? But he got it off tech.
Got it.
And like investing and all this type
Early
of stuff.
on.
When he's like 18, 19. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He's older than me by like, I think like 6 years. So, you know,
this
he's
early
kind of
2000s? Like, this early 2000s? This is like...
I graduated 06. So this is probably, he started tapping in with me like 05-ish.
Okay.
Or whatever. So, you know, he showed me.
Yeah.
He showed me all this different stuff. And, yeah, it was crazy to get out there. I forgot what the question was.
No, just the touring to him, and you said he showed you a lot of things.
Yeah, he showed me he kind of showed me that it was doable. So, that's what I say. So he had me in Chapman Recording.
Yeah,
Chapman Recording.
that was everything back then.
Man, rest in peace, Chuck Chapman.
That was everything.
If you're from Kansas City, you should know who Chuck Chapman is.
Yeah,
he introduced us to the standard of what a professional recording studio in Kansas City was. Yeah. I mean, you had the artists here, the biggest artists would record, but he also had national recording artists, the news stations, movies, like it was a big deal. So to be in that big dog studio, you know, at the time it's like 70 something an hour.
Come on.
And Punch put me in there. So I'm in there. I brought the whole block with me. He was trying to really just invest in me as an R&B artist, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you live and you learn, you know what I'm saying? I love all my guys. Shout out to the set.
Yeah.
But, you know, I brought the whole set. I was like, nah, I want to do a group project. So it's 10 of us in the studio, you know what I'm saying?
Wu-Tang.
But, yeah, like Wu-Tang. Like, if you from Wyandotte, you know about Triple Threat Society, TTS Threat Set. And there was a bunch of us, man. We was just kids that loved hip-hop, and we was trying to rap at an elite level. Singing, rapping, fashion, we was doing everything. And, you know, so we was in there working on this project, and in the studio next to us was Tech.
Okay.
So what was he working on?
That gotta be like Angelic or maybe even past that.
It might have been, no, it was right. It was the Misery Loves Company, the MLK, something like that. It was one of his collab albums when he first started doing the collabos. So, you know, naturally, you know, Tech looking like, who these kids are here? You know what I'm saying? And we see him in the hallway, and you know what I mean? Like, I've always been the one to shoot my shot. Like, I've always been the one to, like, I'm going to speak,
Rub elbows, got to do it.
Yeah, I'm going to push my line. So, you know, I go outside. I think Cut Calhoun, shout out to Cut.
Shout out Cut.
He was out there smoking a square.
Yeah.
I don't smoke. I'm a kid. I just go out there and start talking to him, you know what I'm saying? And eventually I get him to listen to some of the music. He said he'd hook up a feature for me. He did a feature on the Love. So shout out to Cut. Cut, I love you. Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
He just did a feature on the Love because he thought I was dope. And, you know, the relationship kind of built from there.
Come on.
So after being in the city, I mean, we was everywhere, bro. CDs, posters, we was in the mix. So when Tech would do album signings or any event, we was there.
Show up.
Shout out to Homework Jones, Louis V. Like, they was always with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So eventually it got to a point because Travis would run folks away. Like, they just didn't like people, like, I guess, loitering or whatever. But we would pop up constantly. So by the time I watched enough, I was like, yo, they really running the machine.
Yeah.
I need to learn how to make my own machine like
Come
this.
on. Yeah.
So I came to Travis and I said, look, man, just I'll intern. Because you know I'll be everywhere already. You seen I'll be everywhere.
Yeah.
So I could have y'all posters, y'all demos. Because they used to do these things, these samplers, where it'd be like the whole label.
Yeah.
It'd be like 3 songs by each artist, 30 seconds.
Yep.
So I was like, yo, I could do that. And that's how I hit the streets learning about, you know, the infrastructure because I was working for them.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just was good at what I did. And eventually a slot opened up to sell CDs on tour.
Come on.
And they looking like, we seen this little dude go crazy selling CDs, so we know he gonna sell ours.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I got out there and I was the #1 CD hustler. Shout out to all the Strange Music fans. I promise you, I done sold, well, maybe not now, so like younger, but if you're from the OG, you know what I mean, the 08 to like 2012 era, yeah, I sold you some CDs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it went from that to one night on tour. I think Tech heard some of my music, and yeah, he was just like, "Nigga, what are you doing selling CDs?
Yeah.
Nigga, you supposed to be rapping with us, nigga." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I get hyped because that's what I was listening to so much and you know, looking up to. So from there, it evolved into the collaborating, the writing on the songs, and all that stuff.
Okay, so then when you kind of going into it, right, and you like, and you looking at like that, so it gotta be crazy to be with your like the city idols. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At that time.
And shout out to Chris Calico because
Yeah.
Chris, you know, rapping elite, singing elite, and as an artist that could sing and rap myself, this is before Drake was popping.
I'm about to get into it.
Yeah, before T-Pain was popping.
I'm about to get into it.
And they talking to me like, how do we market you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna do both. And it was like, nah, you can't. But at the time, Chris was out too. But you know, this again before T-Pain popped.
Yeah, this is right before Chris went into the whole bag.
So I was like, yeah, I always looked up to him because he was like the closest thing we had was like CeeLo or Pharoah Monch.
Now, yeah, that's now CeeLo with You're My Kind of People, like a classic record.
Perfect Imperfections and what was the other album he had? I don't know. Anything CeeLo is genius level.
Listen, but I was gonna get on that. So I seen a throwback picture in the church, getting it in with the choir, right?
Oh man,
right. So how did you come into the fact of knowing that you had? Because you got to look at it too. You kind of in your innocent pop. You know what I'm saying? And Bruno kind of like in that flavor, the way you kind of kick it. Because you got the, you know, you dropped a video not too long ago. You in the big boy Fleetwood and riding through the city.
I love that light.
No knob on the steering wheel, but you whipping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What inspired you to be the singer and the rapper, and then when it came to fashion?
Well, you know, with hip hop, well, with black art, period, fashion,
Come on.
across the board, be it, you know, Basquiat's hair, be it Marvin Gaye's beanie.
The beanie.
Like when y'all see me rock that orange beanie, that's homage to Sensei. You know what I'm saying?
What you call him?
Sensei.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's who put the R&B thing like, dog. Yeah, Marvin.
Yeah.
So, you know, they go hand in hand, the fashion and the music and all that, and it just it came about because of I think it was just always in me.
Yeah.
And it was always in me, but it was kind of like, it was like my secret because my dad, I love my daddy. Shout out to my daddy.
Yeah.
He he was very militant.
Okay.
Very militant about how he raised me, and I thank him for that. I told him I want to play basketball. I had to dribble the ball 100 times a day,
Come on.
or I get a whooping.
Yeah.
I said I want to play baseball, swing the bat 100 times a day. You get a whooping. You know what I'm saying? Like it was on it. So when I started doing music, I kind of just kept it low. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be my little thing. But it was nurtured because in church, he would make me lead songs.
Come on.
Make me work in service. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, you know, getting up, reading the communion, working in the communion, the collection plates, all that. You get comfortable being in front of a crowd.
Yeah. We were molding you early.
And then also the shop.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, Irving's Tire, we like 20 some odd years
Come
strong.
on, man. Come on, man. Hold on.
If I wasn't in school, I was down there up under a car working.
Yeah.
So, you know, getting used to talking to people and selling. That's why I've always excelled in, like, you know, looking you in the eye, shaking your hand to hand
Yeah.
transaction, because I learned that off of, you know, being at the shop, dealing with people. So I feel like I was kind of always being molded to be ready for doing music.
Gotcha. So 24 hours in a day. What that look like for you?
24 hours in a day. Oh, man. I'm actually, it's changed so much.
Come on.
And the most interesting 24s have been taking place in the past 2 months or so.
All right, I'm listening.
So I started the year off with a fast.
How long?
It was 30 days. And during this fast, it changed my 24. And, I mean, we can get into it a little later. But basically, I started waking up at like 3 o'clock
A.M.
a.m.
Get into it.
religiously. At first, I didn't know what it was. At first, I was having really bad insomnia, spiritually going through things, just in a healing process, just healing.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff that I was dealing with in life, I felt like was just keeping me up. You know what I'm saying? As I, you know, did the work, started therapy, just picking up more healthy things. Top of the year, I was like, all right, I'm going to do this fast. I cut sugar, dairy, alcohol, sex, and that sex is a big one. Fellas.
Come
It's
on.
really a big one.
Talk to him.
But in the midst of that, it's like I just started waking up at 3 a.m., dog. So, like, my day would start at 3 a.m. I would be up. And eventually it just came to me like, God wants to talk to you.
Okay.
That's what it was. So I just started talking to God. I started doing yoga, just prayer, meditation. I had my my prayer journal. I write in that, and that started setting the tone for my day.
Gotcha.
And from there, you know, I might hit the gym. I just recently had a real estate deal come through that I've been building out, like a home and a production compound for music, for content, all that. So
Yeah.
I really just get to work on that.
Okay.
And, you know, I do that until it's time to wake my shorty up. I take her to school. Then I might,
Hold on, don't breeze past that. What's that like?
fatherhood is fire, bro.
Oh, okay.
Fatherhood is fire. It's, I've always wanted to be a dad.
Come on.
I'm the oldest of 5 kids, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And it's just tight, dude. It's like, it is more than I expected it to be, not in an overwhelming way. It's never where I feel like I can't do it, or it's like it's too much, or I love every minute of it.
Bro, I just seen her with the Batman joint on the outfit.
Yeah, and
like,
she got sauce, dog. My daughter got sauce. She be coming out with some fits. I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna mess with your clothes no more. You got it. You let me know.
And
what
how
you
old is
with.
she?
She's 4.
4.
Yeah, she's 4
With sauce.
with sauce.
That's
So, you know, it's amazing. You know, the only thing that I would say that presented a challenge has been, you know, who you build that family with.
Come on.
And
Yeah, real.
that's another important thing that in the midst of all of the stuff that I've, you know, had to work on with myself, I find my purpose in it. You know, like, I feel like a lot of stuff that I deal with where I bump my head, if I don't find a way to put it in the music or
Yeah.
speak to somebody younger who's going to come up into that same circumstance,
Facts.
then I kind of like wasted the stress. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's I love fatherhood. So, you know, I take her to school. By the time she's at school, if I haven't already hit the gym, I hit the gym. I still tap in at the shop. You know, I pop in and out of there, pay some bills, and you blink, and you're picking her up again. You know what I mean? It's just like the day goes fast. So, but it's either that or recording, writing, shooting some content. You know, and if she's with her mom, then I'm out of town with it. It don't stop really. You know, I take that back because I don't want to keep perpetuating this non-stop work yourself to death mentality anymore.
Yeah.
Because you know, I believe in dream big, hustle hard for sure, but you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
So, depending on what day it is and how I feel, you know, it might look like I take a nap. I just start taking naps. Not because I'm like getting old, but I genuinely just
Because
like,
I'm getting old, I'm taking naps.
my
bro.
body said it's time to go to sleep.
I gotta lay that thing down. Restart.
I've been in the hospital because of exhaustion before.
Yeah.
And you hear about like celebrities passed out and you're like, whatever. You know what I mean? That's fake. All you do is rap and sing. It's not real. Nah, exhaustion is a real thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, self-care, wherever I can get it in, be it a massage or a manicure, pedicure, facial, you know, just sitting in the tub sometimes.
So where's that hour of silence? Where's that hour to yourself where you get to reset? Where do you have that hour?
You got to make it.
Yeah,
you
so-
have to force it, dog. Like you can,
Yeah.
like, I ain't gonna say you can't schedule it, but you know, sometimes it doesn't always work.
Mm-hmm.
So I just learned to. I can cuss, right?
You can do whatever you need to do.
I just recently discovered the fuck it button. And this button is so important. It's fuck it / fuck You know what I mean? So sometimes,
Come on.
especially as a man, you have to be able to say fuck them.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I don't feel like it. I'm just not doing it. It's just not, I'm not doing that. I don't feel like it. I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I told you I was the oldest of 5.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then my youngest sister was special needs. So growing up, I was put in a situation where I was always required to be present and
Come on.
look out.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? So you do that long enough and you start transferring that trait into every single person you deal with, every business endeavor, every energetic exchange. You're overextending yourself because you've taken on the role of, won't nobody else do it, I'll do it and I'll do it right.
Yeah.
I'm the dependable one, right? So I had to learn about that fuck it button. And sometimes you just, I ain't doing that. I'm about to go sit in this tub. And chill.
Does it hurt? Does it hurt relationships? Does it hurt family? What's the outcome of it though? Because I know
So-
you need it. You need it for yourself, right? You need it to be able to balance it out to go into what. But what's the outcome of that?
The name of the button is rough, but you don't have to give it to the world that way.
No.
You know what I mean? It's really about setting healthy boundaries. So once you do the work and have those conversations, they might be uncomfortable conversations, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's conversations I've had to have with people where I'm explaining to them, because a lot of times you might be keeping the ship from sinking
Okay.
and everybody's on the ship depending on you, but they I don't know, it doesn't register to them
Yeah.
that you need to chill and like regroup and keep your mind together,
Gotcha.
so you can keep the ship from sinking.
Facts.
Like some people,
Yeah. Facts.
it's just how it works, man. And I don't think it's anything malicious. It's just the way that, you know, when a dynamic has been in place for so long, it's just what people have become accustomed to. And you know, you gotta put yourself first though. Like when they say you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of anybody else.
Yeah. Put your seatbelt on first.
Yeah, when you get on the airplane, they say put your mask on first before trying to assist anybody else, and that's really, you know, what I've been big on, you know, the past 6 months to a year,
Yeah.
and it's incredible.
Okay.
It's been great. It's been great.
When your daughter looks at you, do you think you're giving her a service or a disservice? Not just in music, not just in, you know, with the tire shop and business and entrepreneurship, but in love and relationships. What she sees her dad go through, what she's seen her dad go through, her and her mom and you, and, you know, maybe it didn't work out. When your daughter looks at you, what's your hopes that she sees?
You know, that's something that I would say I beat myself up for
Okay.
a lot more than I do now, because, you know, you get to a point of understanding that everything is as it should be. You know, the only negative to come out of it would be to not receive the lesson out of whatever circumstance you're in that you don't like. You know what I mean? So, it was rough for me because I grew up with both parents in the household. You know, but she doesn't know any different. But for me, it just feels, still feels crazy. So, and also whenever you don't have your child every single day, you're compensating, because it's like I got to double instill these principles and morals, and you know, I have to do double the work when you're with me to make sure when you're not with me, that it's sticking. And then, let alone they start going to school, get around all these other kids from other cultures and these other things. You know, it's a lot of things now that's normalized. It's just like, when she come back home to me, I gotta give her the.
You gotta polish it back up.
I'm like, no, this is this, and this is this.
It's definitely a moment where you sit around and you polish it. You know, I find myself with my kids. I polish them a lot because I want them to shine in their own way.
Right.
The world has taught us that we have to confide to what they want us to be instead of being ourselves. Right. So a lot of times I'm telling them like, hey man, find your worth in what you find your worth in, and let it be that. And once you find your worth in that, it's good.
How many you got?
I got 2.
Boy, girl, what?
I got a boy and a girl.
Oh, wow.
I got a 4-year-old and a 14-year-old, and they both attained to go 15 and 5 this year. And with them two, man, I tell everybody all the time, it's amazing. I just was kicking with my son a couple weeks ago, and I slid up on my pop's house. He was over there, and when I slid over there, man, I had kites. So as a kid, I grew up in Sunflower Apartments.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My dad, you know, this is when you know, over in Turner, they got Chrissy's, the tenderloin spot over there, right?
Right.
It used to be down by you know, since Sunflower, you know, apartments over there. It used to be off of K7. It used to be going there, right? And so my dad always instilled, like, trying to show us different things, but he was like a car fixer up underneath it, you know what I'm saying? But he showed us how to fly kites. So I was in Walmart and I seen some kites, bro. I'm like, man, I give my son a kite every year, try to get him a kite. And my daughter, I had to take her out there too, because I want them to see, like, man, you can go as high as you want to go. You control, but you're going to put some work into it. So, you know, initially getting the kite off the ground, some people want to run with it. Some people walk it up and let it, you know, let the wind hit it. It's just up to you. And how you know, how you get it up there. But getting it up there is really the easy part. Keeping it up there is everything. So when you think about, like, where you want to go, even when I think about this, I can do this. I'm all right at this. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to pat myself on the back.
It took patience.
Come on.
Finesse.
Come on.
Catching the right breeze.
I got to. And it got to be funky enough for me that it makes sense every day. You see what I'm saying? Because this is one of the things where I can say how you put out albums. I put out albums in different seasons, different moments of my life. But I put this thing out, bro, and been consistent enough to say, this is one of my kids now. So I actually have 3 kids. You dig what I'm saying? When you look at this. Because this baby right here, she growing every day. You dig what I'm saying? So I be so super proud of it or whatever when you look at it, man. So
you should be. It's fire.
I appreciate
You're raising a good kid.
Hey, listen, man. And it's one of them things, bro, where I'm looking at it every day and I'm trying to gather it and I'm trying to put it into perspective, bro. And all I want to do is make sure that when it's all said and done in my legacy with it, they'll be able to look at it and say, hey, we got something. You know what I'm saying? Dad did something good. So with that, when you think about relationships, bro, and I know you went through a very, you was open. You know what I'm saying? You was open. As a man, bro, I haven't seen too many men be open on social media about the right shit. You see a lot of the, oh, man, I'm balling, I'm doing this, I got this, I'm car, I'm house, I'm that. You were open and whatever you feel like and comfortable enough to share, bro, with that and being open. And then I had you on the panel with the fellas for, you know what I'm saying, for the hall pass, and to know that you were going through what you was going through then, and I didn't have enough to know, like, hey, bro, you all right?
Yeah, yo, and that's whew.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and to know then when I go back and watch it, I'm like, maybe he was holding out here, or maybe he was holding out there. But when you were going through your situation, bro, what made it okay for you to say, I'm going to share this with the world?
So, I guess for those who are watching or not aware,
and we don't have to say names or nothing like that. Yeah,
for sure. I had it was actually a mental break. It was a break. I reached a breaking point, spiritually, mentally, physically. Like, I had gone to the hospital with exhaustion. Like, it was a lot of stuff that was coming back to back to back. End of 2021.
Yeah.
to where I had near-death experiences. A lot of stuff where it's just like, when you ask God to move and you pray for like, oh God, that prayer. You say that prayer where it's God, anything that's not for me, anyone that's not for me, please remove it.
Come on. Ooh. We all done said it once or twice.
And I done cried. Last time I said it, I cried.
Yeah.
Because I knew what was going to get removed.
Yeah.
You also need to pray that you have the obedience to listen and, follow what's being shown to you. So it was a lot of changes going on. And, in that moment, it was a mental break. And to me, my superpower has always been honesty, transparency. Like, people view me as this or that.
Come on. Yeah.
They like me for this or that, whatever, but I'm just being myself. Because nobody else can do that like me. And that includes navigating spaces that aren't so pretty and fly all the time. And I had just reached a point where I heard God explaining to me that, like, you have to say this because it's not for you. It's not just for you.
Yeah.
In something that I've kind of come to understand through therapy and through the process of everything that took place was I was sexually abused as a child. And that's another one of those things that it's not cool.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk about that.
Come on. Yeah.
And it was something that I didn't tell anybody. I didn't talk about.
Just kind of harbored it. Kept it to yourself.
Kept it to myself. And it felt like eventually thing after thing after thing, traumas happen to you.
Right.
You tuck them in. You don't tell nobody. You stay quiet because you don't want to cause discourse in the family. You don't want to ruffle this relationship. You don't want people to view you this way or take a side, whatever. And for me, I think I just reached a breaking point where it's like my throat chakra was open.
Yeah.
And everything came out.
Yeah.
When they say pressure bust pipes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, I just understood that if anybody needed to be transparent about it, it was me. Because I also, the same fans that that listen to all my music and tell me, oh, you kept me from killing myself, and oh my God, like this helped me through this and this and this and this. Like, you get the inboxes all the time. Right?
Yeah.
It felt like I'd be doing a disservice to try to edit when I'm going through something.
Facts.
Because I knew I had this thing I call the batting average. 100% of the times that I've been sick in my life, I got better. 100% of the times that I've been broke in my life, I got some more money. 100% of the times I was heartbroken, I healed.
Come on.
And then I loved again.
I like that.
So my batting average is crazy. God's batting average is crazy, right? Mm-hmm. So in that moment, it was so much, it was ugly. But that's when I heard God saying, think about the batting average.
Yeah.
Now think about if these people, if you share what you're dealing with, you know it's going to help somebody. Somebody's going to feel heard and seen. Mm-hmm. And when you come out of it, I know you're going to give me the glory.
Come on.
Which that's, again, shout out to God.
Yeah.
Shout out to God, like straight up. Uh-huh. And I really felt like that was my moment to speak to people who could only receive it from me. Because there's somebody out there that can only talk to you where you only get the message from them. And this, I understood, like, okay, it's not pretty. Mm-hmm. This is terrible. This is, you know, I'm in a bad space with it. But at the same time, somebody else needs to hear it. I needed to be to somebody else what I wish that I had in that moment.
Yeah. And
that for me was somebody to just keep it a buck, you know what I'm saying? But also at the same time, it's bad because I mean, like, I was just in a bad, dark space. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was hurt, heartbroken. I was also dealing with PTSD really bad. I had PTSD from gun violence, and you know, it was a lot of rough stuff going on, and I'm grateful for it though. You know?
No, I'm grateful.
And it was that.
Yeah.
It was dog, it was ugly.
So let me bring it back ahead. Reason why I say I'm grateful. I didn't have the heart to have those conversations out loud when I was going through what I was going through. Because I didn't want nobody to look at me as a failure. I didn't want nobody to look at me as less than. I was Al with all the answers.
You don't want to be embarrassed.
Listen.
You don't want to be you said I had all the answers.
I was Al with all the answers.
You're the one that's always okay. You're the one that's checking on everybody else.
Come on.
Dog, whenever this happened, so many people were like, bruh.
Yeah.
Why you
ain't say nothing?
I can't.
Why you ain't tell me nothing?
In
Why?
some spaces, I'm not allowed to. In others, you know, in hindsight, I do realize, like, it was just, you know, I got to take accountability for, like, bro, I had people who love me beyond
measures,
more than I could ever imagine.
Yeah, facts.
But I never gave them the opportunity to be there for me.
Right.
To express that to me. Excuse me. And, you know, one night, again, I told you for a while, it was just, I was mourning for a long time. So PTSD, for me, I can't speak to everybody, but for me, it presented itself after a shooting took place at the shop. And dudes on the lot just busting at some cars, you know what I'm saying? And I grab everybody, we run them to the back. And, you know, after that, I dipped to LA because I need to just clear my mind. I was like, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, it also checked my purpose because it was at a time where I was so focused on being everything for everybody else. I wasn't putting my music out like I should have been. I wasn't speaking on my experiences. And that's the other thing too. God will whoop your ass. If you try to play cool, if you try to make this pretty cute little,
come on,
like,
I like this.
Oh, you know, everything is just, you know, it's just the fashion, it's just the music. But I'm not talking about what the people need to hear me say. So why would God give me a platform to reach people everywhere and I'm only giving them just this much whenever I could do so much more by being fully, you know? So in the midst of all that, you know, the PTSD was waking me up. I'm mourning people that I never cried at the funerals. It's crazy. Like, my best friend was killed playing basketball. They shot him, killed him. You know, R.I.P. Antonio Hall. You know, had a friend commit suicide. It's so many deaths.
Right.
That, you know, I'm 17, 18, going to these funerals. I don't shed a tear. I don't cry. I'm numb because I had lost my baby sister when she was 4 or 5 years old.
Never dealt
She
with
passed. We didn't go to group therapy as a family. We just prayed every night.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with prayer. I believe in prayer. But again, I can speak to the kid, the black boy that grew up in church that had to be tough. Just pray everything away. There is no depression. You just pray.
Come on.
That that might need therapy. You might chemically be depressed.
And it's real.
You need to hear me say that. You see what I'm saying? So
you have
not
to
everybody, but to the little black boy who's watching, or you ain't even got to be a little black boy. You might be somebody from a similar background who just puts weight in what I say for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I'm doing it a disservice to have any platform to not help somebody in that way. So back to what I was saying, though. I was waking up 3, 4 o'clock morning. Just morning. I ain't never had sorrow before, bro. I was in sorrow. And God just lined it up where somebody called me and was like, "What's up, bro?" At 3 a.m, called me. I don't know what.
You don't know what he doing up. Where he at? Hey,
he called me, and what he said to me, he said, "Hey, man, I know you always try your best in everything you do."
Yeah.
I broke down crying right then. He's told me it was good enough. He was like, sometimes you need that permission, and that's why, again, I'm saying all this because I want to give that permission to whoever's listening.
Yeah.
Like, when he told me, he said, you try your best in everything you do.
Yeah.
And he said, you need to forgive yourself.
That's it.
And when I tell you, I broke down crying because it was an older man who said this to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And again, you going through life with this masculine stoicism. That's cool up until the point it breaks.
Yeah.
And then you're not good to nobody.
Nobody.
So, you know, I don't care how I look to nobody. I don't really. It's not because that's where that fuck it button come in.
Come
you
on.
See what I'm saying? I know what my responsibilities are. My responsibilities are my daughter and my legacy, my family, and walking in my purpose. And I don't feel like I was fulfilling that in the way that God had for me. I don't feel like, you know, the relationship I was pursuing at the time, I don't feel like God had that for me. Clearly, God didn't have that for me. And, you know, at the end of the day, you have to be aligned with your purpose.
Yeah.
And understand that your experiences are bigger than you.
Facts.
So it was a spanking. You know what I'm saying? I took my licks and I'm getting right as much as I can. And on the way up, I have to keep, you know, just keeping it a buck and giving God the glory so that the people who did witness me at my lowest,
Like, yeah.
look at me in 6 months. You know what I'm saying?
And they gonna
be
get
like,
to celebrate with me.
and know that it's God. I'm
That's
telling you
it.
now, it's 6 months from now, hey, it's God. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean? So I think that's why I went through a lot of that.
So when you talk about legacy, my question is, what does your dreams in your legacy look like?
I want to be a catalyst for little black boys to be themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like to if you need to cry, cry.
Yeah.
If you dress weird, dress weird. If
But
you like,
hold on.
whatever.
It's no such thing as dressing weird, bro.
Not anymore.
But even then, bro, I think we were put in a box as
That box, boom.
we're put in a box to make us think that what is this or what is that is not it's not right. It's not accessible. It's not cool. It's not that.
The world is much more open now, so that's a blessing for the younger dudes now because it's not such a stigma on what you like and how you dress. Because again, the internet is there, and we can all see that fun shit is for everybody.
Yeah, and then you got me and you shared something because you a thrifter.
Yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? And that's the other thing, showing like the thing, like you might see me have like jewelry and stuff on. Like I paid like all these rings I got on. I might pay like $50 a ring.
Yeah,
it might be $1,000 ring, but I paid $50. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
What's important is really being able to invest that money in your passions, into some real estate, into some stocks, into some stuff like that. And but you got to make it look good.
It got to.
You got to put some swag on it. And then once people buy into the image of it and the energy of it,
Facts.
then people like, oh, he's really saving hella money, and this is really so. The priorities change.
I tell anybody, you can get it off the mannequin. Ain't nothing to walk in there and get it off the mannequin.
Easy.
But to put it on,
you got to be able to wear it.
you got to be able to put it on.
Yeah.
And I'm learning that now. Past tense, I was a fool for that horse. When it came to that polo horse, I had to have it.
Ralph.
He was everything. You know
how
that
much Ralph I find in thrift stores, dog, and that goes to show you.
Yeah.
Number one, the wealth gap.
Yeah.
Is disgusting.
Yeah.
Things that were on the rack for $3,000 and I'm getting it for $30, $40. It go to show you how much value it doesn't actually have.
It don't have no value.
So
I was so wide open on it, man. But then I started like looking at certain things, man. I'm wearing stuff that ain't even comfortable. You'll wear some designer and then even the shoe ain't comfortable. You'll wear certain stuff and put on certain things and you looking around, you like, bro, I'm really putting this on for y'all. But if you put it on for you, you feel so much better.
Outside of your means.
Come on.
And being broke for other broke people is a sickness. So you might as well be comfortable and feel like you got your I call it a superhero costume.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got an outfit in your closet that like you could probably wear every day and feel like you in your bag.
I'm in my bag.
Janelle Monáe wore that tuxedo for like
but even with that though,
that was her uniform.
She said she got it from her parents.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like I think that's how I approach fashion. To me, it's about like my favorite outfit is actually my overalls, like my work coveralls. You know what I'm saying? You see me in them at the shop.
Yeah.
That's my power outfit.
That's where I get that. That's where I get my strength from.
I'm getting my hands dirty. I'm getting some money. That's what I like to wear. You know what I'm saying? The other stuff is dope too, but it's just about putting the priorities on the right thing, man. We get so much stupid, destructive stuff, and we really don't have. You might have. Okay, here's the thing. You might have people who tell you the right way, but they don't be fly enough to listen to sometimes. So like maybe that might be part of my MO is like I just want to make it look appetizing to do the right thing.
What inspires you?
In regards to what?
Life. And not even music. We know we can do that too. You say music and life. What inspires you? What makes you wake up every day? What makes you push the record button? What makes you say, hey, I'm gonna go to work and stay humble and work with my dad and you know, be down there and shout out Uncle Nick, you know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Nick.
Like what makes you do that? Like what inspires you? What inspires you?
Just more so now these days, understanding that it's about my purpose. It's about, as a man, I believe as a man, I'm put here in this life to be abundant.
Come on.
And to give. I've you know, that's something that I struggled with, especially over this past year, feeling like I gave too much or I was too loving and too. But as a man, you have to realize we give a seed to a woman that she takes and multiplies.
Come on.
We give.
Word to word.
Look at how, if you look at the anatomy of a man, we're made to give. So, and when God is the plug, you're never gonna run out of work.
I like that.
So it's really every day waking up, how do I tap in with God so much that whatever it is that God has for me to give to the world, it's coming through constantly and it's going out into the world, and I'm just being abundant in how I live. So I feel like that's really the purpose for me, is just to get up, be abundant, be it in my conversation with somebody, like did I leave them with something? Was I able to help somebody in a way? Especially now that I'm learning more about setting my boundaries, taking care of myself, putting myself first. Now I'm not getting drained and burnt out so much. But that's what inspires me, is just the ability to get up and to be abundant, to walk in abundance and live in a constant state of giving to the world. Like,
gotcha.
What they call it, dying a good death. You know what I'm saying? Like when I die, I want to feel like, yo,
I did a good thing.
That's
work.
People laughing at Cannon. You know, his method might be different than your method, but like he's being fruitful.
He's doing what you're supposed to do. That's what they say. You ain't supposed to
be fruitful.
And I don't really want to be, you know, like TMI. It ain't supposed to lay on the covers. It ain't supposed to be this. When you do that act, it's in order to recreate.
Now we can get into that, because I was talking about part of the fast being abstaining from sex. And I mean, you got to really think about what happens when we just have sex as humans. We make a whole life. That energy ain't to be
played with.
You see what I'm saying?
And given around any and everywhere. And I will, and not dare not cut you off, but I will tell you, as a man, you look at that and you learn, bro, I'm really playing with my life. I'm really playing with the heirs to my throne. Like I'm playing Russian roulette with this thing. Because when you analyze it and you like, man, when we doing this is what this act was. It was never included to be pleasure from any and everybody and giving it to any and everybody. But like I said again, it goes back to
live in,
made it like it was.
It's normalized.
Come on,
it's normalized a lot of. Again, if I had on like a deacon's robe and we was having this conversation, if we wasn't smoking cigars, you see what I'm saying? Like, It's the ability to be able to give this to the young brothers who might be watching it and help them avoid the situations that almost broke me, that I've had to recover from, so they can go a little bit further than I went. I mean, we can get into I got this concept of God DNA. You know what I'm saying? Like, your kids look like you, right? They got your mannerisms.
Come on.
You know, when people feel away whenever you say the K word, Kanye, but like, he had a record that said, I am a God. People felt away. He's not saying he's higher than God. He's just saying, I'm
a God.
Your last name is?
Garner.
Do your kids have your last name?
Yes.
So, you know, the Bible tells us we're made in God's image.
Come on.
We get up and we command our day, and then we control what happens in our day.
Yes.
He gave us free will to do this.
Yes.
So it's kind of tapping into that DNA, but you have to tap in with God to do that.
Yes.
So it's just, I think that's what fuels everything I'm working on now. And those fasts, I found, like, you know, I used to fast, like, I'm a fast a week, I'm a fast a month here. But more recently, it feels like I'm understanding this is a way of life. I have to regularly set new goals, become increasingly more disciplined on each fast. And it's just funny, man. Like, you would have talked to me like 2 years ago, It was like the music is the vehicle for the message, and now it's just been expanded to understand that it's like my dealing with somebody at the grocery store is the vehicle. My everything. It's all like
It's a lot.
it's everything. You know, that's everything you do. So it's you know, just kind of getting acclimated into understanding that and exercising that more.
That's dope, man. I love you for that,
Yeah.
big dog. I love you for that. Two more. What would you tell the young Irv if you could talk to him?
What would I tell young Irv? How young?
You can pick two. Pick two ages. What would you tell him?
I would tell sophomore Irv, buy some Bitcoin right now.
Yeah.
All the money you have, buy some Bitcoin.
Okay.
And I would
What would you tell young Irv on the road?
whoo.
What would you tell young Irv? What would you tell him on the road?
Oh man.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
What would you tell him?
I done burnt some mattresses. They had too many spirits in them. I'm trying to think. What did I tell me on the road?
What would you tell him?
Because a lot of it built character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
Uh,
Would you tell him to build character? Would you tell him? What would you tell him? Would you tell him what? You standing right there, you see him. And he out here, he mingling and doing his thing. He's standing next to Tech Cut and everybody else and Calico. He's chilling.
okay, so I stopped touring for a while because of as I became more in tune with, like, you know, energy.
Yeah.
I stopped touring because it became overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I tell this people, and they like it, they don't. I don't think they get it. But it's like every night I'm getting on stage, and I would perform these records like "Hate Your Family," or, you know, it's like deep content in these records. You know, it's party all night. And I got, you know, my set was lit. I always have a lit set on these tours. I have something for the girls, slow it down, sing, and then I have some content. And during these songs, every eye in the room is just on you. You ever seen Busta Rhymes perform? He said, "Put your hands up," and you watch 10,000 hands go up. Crowd control.
Yeah.
So there's an energetic exchange happening, and I wasn't protecting my energy. I also wasn't tapped in with God how I needed to be, to where, like I said, that's the constant source. There's constantly going to be a stream of energy when you're in alignment.
Right. You got to be in line. Yeah.
So, but at the same time, I know the space I was in, I don't know if I would have been able to receive it.
Gotcha.
So I would just probably present just therapy. I'll present therapy to myself to hopefully work out some of the complexes and traumas that I was, because it was people dying while I was on the road. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like I didn't have time to deal with stuff I should have dealt with from childhood, because I jumped right on tour. And you're distracted because you partying every night on tour. You're not dealing with this stuff. Then you come off the road 5 years later, everybody else married. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had no serious relationship. Like it's different. So I would encourage, like, going within more.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
In sense of emergency, something was to happen, who's the first person you call?
My dad.
You and Pops together.
My dad.
You and Pops together. Something happened. Who's the next person?
In an emergency,
Yeah.
my boy Homework. Shout out to Homework Jones. That's my brother. I call Homework if I couldn't get in touch with my pops.
And the reason why I ask that, bro, I tell everybody all the time, is men, we should have at least 5, if not everybody in our phone we can call for anything. So how you just put out this track, you and Kev, and you should be able to call somebody and say, hey, I want to push this track. I want this, I want that. And off of your name, your reputation alone as a man, anybody in your phone should be able to help you. And if they can't, they're really holding storage for some people that's supposed to be in your life that's supposed to help you. So I always challenge everybody to make sure when you look through your contacts, it's a need for both parties. It's not you pouring too much into them and them pouring too much into you. And then have some numbers that's saved in your brain and not saved in the phone.
Like back in the day.
Come on, you know what I'm saying? When you was at Skateland, you didn't have a cell phone.
788-7788 was the Skateland number.
You had to, you know what I'm saying? That talked to Big V, you know what I'm saying, when he was out there doing his thing, you know what I'm saying? But you had to be able to do certain things and remember those numbers. It was a dope thing to put it in your hand and, you know what I'm saying, walk home with it and have it, or call your auntie. Your dad say, hey, call so-and-so, so-and-so. You can go and get it. Even if it was in the book or it was on the wall. My grandma, she stayed 1131 Wood. You go in her room, it was all on the walls. You dig what I'm saying? So I always challenge people to have more than one contact that they can call to talk about things that they deal with.
Can I speak on that the people you can call? This how we doing on time?
You got a couple minutes. Go ahead. Do you think?
Okay, so this point about people you can call. Back to the break I had, I actually checked myself in to a mental health facility.
Yeah.
So again, it's a lot of times we see people crash out.
Yeah.
They hurt other people, they hurt themselves. And again, it's not just if you feel suicidal. If you feel like you might hurt somebody else, check your ass in.
Yeah.
It's not worth throwing everything away. Like however, we have to normalize these types of things. So one of the things that they went over in this, and all this is new to me, because again, I don't even tell people I had a bad day. Right? They said it's called a safety plan. And what a safety plan is, you need to have 5 contacts.
This is crazy.
that you can call and say, hey, I'm not feeling good. Hey, they literally, it's funny that they had to tell me, hey, you have to talk to people. You have to have a support system, and you can't just, and you would think that's fundamental, right? But it's not for everybody, especially when society doesn't teach you that. Especially as a black man, we can, but we're taught that we cannot.
We cannot, yeah.
And that's what I subscribe to. It was wrong. But, so it's important to have those 5 people. I just say this because I know it's going to speak to somebody. Like, I don't care if you're the strong friend. I don't care what you think. People always say, like, bro, we don't know stuff's blowing up with you until it hit the fan. Until it's like, I could have helped you months ago. Yeah. But you was embarrassed. You was trying to keep it private. And that's another thing too. I grew up believing it stays in the house.
Family business.
It's family business.
It's family business.
Right? But I wasn't even really telling my family. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but in my relationship, it was an issue because I wouldn't go outside to talk to a circle of brothers. Yeah. Men specifically. Men, black men. We have to have a round table. It's called a mastermind. You're supposed to have a group of men to sit in the war room and be like, hey,
that's in the book.
This is what I'm going through. And I don't a lot of my best friends are older. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's more wisdom there. And they don't really have a motive for dealing with me or telling me anything besides the same motive I'm discovering now, which is I just want to help somebody who's going through it. So those people, like you said, those people, that group of people to be able to confide in, who hold you accountable, you got to have that. I'm glad you said that.
That's dope. That's dope. Do me a favor. Look in the camera. Give them your handles, where they can find you at. Anything you got coming down the pipe you want to talk about?
Yeah, it's IrvDaPHENOM on all social medias. That's at IrvDaPHENOM. Right now, the single is Making Love, featuring Kevin Church Johnson off my upcoming album, Big Lover. I ain't really talk about the album too much, but Big Lover has a double meaning to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's R&B. It's Marvin would be proud. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's about being a lover of yourself. And the way that we get to that point throughout the album is so cinematic. I can't wait to share it with the world. It's done, but we rolling it out slow, making sure that the records resonate like they need to. Tomorrow, actually.
Put a date on it. It's gonna come. It's gonna give you a little time.
What's today's date?
Today is the 27th.
The 27th. So the 28th.
Yeah.
Big Ja, the homie out there on the West Coast, he does skits and mini-series and movies and all that stuff. You can see him on the Upshaws with Mike Epps. He has a new series coming out called Cuddle Season. I'm on the soundtrack for that. So that's dropping February 28th. More soundtrack work, more content, skits, acting, fashion, food, travel, music. It's going to be phenomenal.
All right, no doubt. So like I tell everybody, never goodbye. I always see you later. May God be your direction and we be your seatbelt in this thing called life. Till we see each other again, man. Y'all be cool, be safe, man. Love.
Well.